Paul?
Yes.
I was so excited to be back down the history hole.
No.
And reviewing a movie that is considered to be a cult movie, and I noticed that there was an entry for it in my Bad Movie Bible.
Okay.
Which is very exciting. And consequently, I decided to go out, get myself a Blu-ray of it.
Oh, wow. Look at it.
Ooh, look at that. Look at Sybil Danning in all her glory. The expression on her face on the Arrow Video Blu-ray of just kind of, it's not going to blur.
Somewhere in an attic, there's a portrait of her looking more and more comfortable. Christopher Lee there. He's got the rebellions were built on hope kind of look.
The guy with stuff shooting out of his eyes.
Yep. Werewolf Mads Mikkelsen. Just happy to be here.
As it did just make me think of all the OGT films I now have on physical media. Because I have things.
Obviously.
I have this.
Uh-huh.
I think I have Surf Ninjas somewhere.
Oh, okay.
I think I ended up with a copy. I do. I can see it from here. I've got Surf Ninjas.
And you purchased that after we recorded?
Yes, I did.
Excellent. Okay.
Because we watched it on a dodgy stream that took 20 minutes to set up. So yes, I decided to purchase Surf Ninjas later. Yep.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. To complete the Ninjaverse set.
It's just exactly. I will eventually get around to 3 Ninjas and whatever the other one was. But
Chinatown, weirdly.
Yeah. Jesus, it took a turn. We shouldn't have gotten Roman Polanski to direct the final installment in the Surf Ninja trilogy. That was very much a retrospective one. But it's very interesting, the cross-section of our episodes that I find myself owning. And Guardians, thanks to my flatmate, Jack.
Merry Christmas, friend. And you did friend in
Thank you.
Air quotes.
Thank you, comrade. I have also bought you Guardians. Excellent. This is the most state-approved Christmas yet.
We need not report one another to the Stasi.
That's the Boxing Day tradition.
Aw.
Welcome to One Good Thing, the podcast that will fly its favourite band to anywhere in the world that it's having its orgy. I'm Paul She-Wolf.
I'm Stefan Krosko.
Fuck yeah, you are. Nobody can take that away from you, no matter how many dogs you have to wank off for that pocket change.
Don't let my demeanour or accent fool you. It's definitely my name.
Oh god, the balls are back in control. The balls are back. And the balls are back. The balls are back in control of their own destiny, and that tends not to go well.
Oh.
Case in point, the first thing we're going to do is bloody well fling ourselves down the history hole. Now, ever since we finished our heroic journey into the distant past of terrible movies, we have had a rather good run of things in our second go.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. Like, we did the academic stuff first time around. Yes, we've seen
like
Women
Howard
of One
the Duck.
Go. Yeah. This time it's just for us, baby.
Yeah, we had Trolls 2 and Things, and now we're hoping for an equally transcendent experience with Philippe Mora's 1985 horror sequel, Howling II, Your Sister Is A Werewolf.
Oh no. That caused me, upon reading it, to call my family and inquire about my sister, and if we had a sister.
Oh, you're calling the film a liar then, are you, mother? We shall speak more on this. And then you strode out of the house with the phone.
Would Sybil Danning lie to you? To us? After everything we've done for her?
Certainly not. And speaking of whom, this is also known as Howling II, Sturber, Werewolf Bitch.
Oh, okay. That one's better. I don't know why. I can't put my finger on it, Paul. But I just know.
I just feel like that's the one I'm going to spend my Friday night cinema tickets on. That's right, I get tickets and then I go and spend them on a movie. That's how things work in communist Lewisham.
It's the rocking, shocking, new wave of horror. Howling II. It's not over yet.
Ah, the rocking, shocking new wave of horror ran the tagline.
Rocking and shocking. I was rocked, Paul.
I was rocked, I was shocked, I was a new wave.
I'm yet to stop, and I'm scared. And I, for one, am happy to stand for this.
Oh god, well, I have seen the first Howling once about 10 years ago.
Oh, well done.
That film was directed by Gremlins director Joe Dante, and was good.
Okay.
Menacing, funny, and some really good special effects, some of which
That was
you
the
get to
tagline
see
for
in
that
this. It's good.
Yeah.
All right. It was a bit defensive, Joe Dante. You need to relax a bit. And now this.
Yeah.
Well, Philippe Mora wasn't a bad choice of director. He was born in Paris. Raised in Melbourne, Australia. Oh, fuck.
Jesus
Jesus Christ.
Came to set covered in the stings of a million bees.
Heroin dripping off his shoes. He was a hell of a guy.
With a very convincing story as to why I needed that dollar.
He had already directed the movies Mad Dog Morgan, The Beast Within, The Return of Captain Invincible, and A Breed Apart.
Okay. That first one was a documentary about Morgan Freeman, I imagine.
Mad Dog Morgan, as he tears his way across Hollywood. Nothing is left intact.
Nothing can stop him. Least of all this film.
Michael Caine
That's why none of you have heard it before.
Michael Caine had a go and, torn in twain.
Torn it twain.
Torn it twain. Torn in Shania Twain. And
Jesus.
yeah, Mora released 2 movies last year and has 7 films in production. So
Okay.
this is still very much happening to us all.
He's very much he's very much our Woody Allen, isn't he?
Very much.
Ever since Woody Allen
Absolutely.
stopped being our Woody Allen.
Yes, now he's the new prolific genius. When Rob Hill asked Mora why he directed the film for his Bad Movie Bible book, Mora said, "It was offered to me as a directing job, and my wife needed a car."
There we go.
So there you are.
Yeah.
That's the haunting nug that sort of took root in his heart and grew into this film.
Yeah. The Howling II was a synergistic campaign, hoping to engage all external and internal shareholders.
Sure, we're right, it was. Now, there are actually 8 Howling movies in total, so it could be a good Halloween ep in 2032 or something.
I hope not. Yeah, because three of them, Paul. I did realise there were many, because 3 of them are on Apple TV, as I was looking for this one.
Oh, yeah.
The Howling 3, and The Howling 4.
Yay!
Thanks, Apple.
Thanks, Apple. Yeah.
And I mean, at least they fucking had some of them.
Yeah, that's true.
At least he had enough to get my hopes up.
Give you a moment of joy. Oh, God, before you went ahead and also bought the Arrow Blu-ray.
Obviously.
This is the only sequel to directly follow up on the previous film, unlucky for us. Though it does ignore the small detail that the previous film ended with a woman turning into werewolf on live TV. Live TV, crucially.
It doesn't ignore that. There's a scene in this one.
There's a
about
scene.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, in which a pre-recorded video that was destroyed before its release is shown.
Oh.
But it was live TV beforehand.
I assumed it was live because it was a news show.
Yeah, exactly. It seems super live, but
Yeah.
then why doesn't everyone know that werewolves are real? Because
Fake
it's like
news,
nobody
Paul.
was supposed to see this. Oh, well, how did you?
Look, Paul, we've seen some what we previously believed to be actual footage of atrocities.
That's
and
true.
Christopher Lee comes on and goes, "No one was supposed to see this." And everyone went, "Oh, it's fake then, obviously."
Because that man has no credibility.
Take your PCP, which I have placed under all of your seats. And then we took it, and then we just came to, and it was today.
You're going to see some shit now. Now, the author of the original book didn't like the 1981 original film, and so signed up to work on this one. How'd that go, Chief?
How did that go, Stephen King?
This is much more in keeping with my vision and my artistic sensibilities. Says every werewolf.
Every werewolf's a car, and they suck blood.
Now, according to the book Showgirls, Teen Wolves and Astro Zombies by Michael Adams, actors Reb Brown and Annie McEnroe were so bad in their roles that veteran Christopher Lee acted off-set in a manner as if wishing himself away. What?
That's nothing.
I think that maybe Michael Adams was given some of Christopher Lee's magical LSD.
That he took to get through this life on this plane.
Oh, God, he got through it really well. The film was shot in then Soviet-controlled, then Prague, still Prague, and the production was apparently assigned a government... Awesome, Paul. Was apparently assigned a government-assigned director. It wasn't even a director. What were you doing when you were writing this, you moron?
Were you talking to me?
Just moments ago.
Yeah.
He was assigned a government stooge who had to overwatch the entire thing. And apparently, and this is another quote from Adam's book, but it's surprisingly coherent for him, Mora had to literally import trash from America to clutter the clean communist streets. Oh, yes, yeah.
Sure.
I've heard that. So efficient. Yeah. Such good services everywhere.
It's funny because I did write Meanwhile Back in Communist Russia here, because this film is made 4 years before the Berlin Wall comes down, and it does feel like what an American thinks all of Eastern Europe would be like. All Americans, you heard me.
Another story from the set is that they put out a casting call for punks, and 1,000 punks arrived. And the local authorities told them that they could finish the scene, but they would then have to leave in groups of no more than 3. So,
Punk.
It was a very interesting evening on the night buses.
Also, I enjoy the idea that in a communist state, exactly 1,000 punks would arrive, no more, no less.
The government-sanctioned number of punks arrived at the scene.
250 to a carriage.
God, liberal democracies could only fucking dream of that kind of efficiency. Speaking of the excesses of a liberal democracy, critics reacted to this film like a non-hairy body at their orgy. Oh, you spoiled it.
Like they didn't even realise communism was the way forward.
Absolutely, and one of those people is Roger Ebert at the Chicago Sun-Times, who says, I know, I didn't write a thing about him being a vicious badass. Oh, well. Just
shot a dog in the face just to feel. Roger Ebert.
It's his dog. He loved that dog.
And he did feel. And that's how he knew he was saved. Roger Ebert.
He laughed hysterically. The heroes get involved in the strange rituals of the cult of Sturber, although the rituals, like the rest of the movie, are impenetrable and amazingly inept. I have to concede that no one presides over a ritual quite as well as Sybil Danning.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, there
nice
you go. At least one Sybil's getting praise.
You can do one at a time. And they chose Sybil Danning. It feels very unfair, but I respect it.
Number of times Sybil Shepherd's agent came in with the newspapers again. Oh, you know what I've done again.
This Danning is talk of the town.
Not Shepherd, you.
I can't believe At Long Last Love was 10 years ago. The public were also exploding out of their eyes about the movie. Pete Hendry on Google said, I love werewolf films, but this definitely isn't a good werewolf film.
But I do love it, because I said.
I love the entire genre, although I have to concede that I love a few of them just a little more than I ought to. Wink, and he runs away.
Takes his cock out. It was a terrible man.
His cock was out the whole time. Oh, God, that was horrible, that bit.
It was out the whole time, and you didn't realise, so he mimed taking it out again.
An impenetrable and amazing man.
Roger Ebert still. Moustache falls off.
Just the one Threeman. Just the one person who's been in any of our other movies, actually, and it's Christopher Lee.
Aww.
Oh, free to a man, free in the bush, free, yo. Film's a shit, mate.
Well, that's something.
Yeah. He was in Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, of course he was. Forgot about that.
Yeah. To be fair, he was in those.
Yeah, he was in those, and they're bad.
Yeah, that's true. The film has 31% on Rotten Tomatoes. Apparently didn't do as well as its predecessor financially.
Oh.
But sexually, also not quite as well. It's a very saucy film, that Joe Dante film.
Okay, I can believe that.
You've seen Gremlins. You've seen that old lady get thrown through a window. You know how saucy Joe Dante can get.
Look, I haven't seen Gremlins, Paul. I'm going to tell you right now.
Fuck me. Well, next Christmas, you're coming here, son. So, Paul, I didn't write that bit. Paul, werewolf bitch.
I didn't write a response to it either, so I'm just like, Stefan Krosko.
What's one thing about the Howling II that made you wish your life had a Christopher Lee voiceover? My first note.
Something. Well, Paul. Simon Cox got on in this one and projected Christopher Lee across space and time for us.
Yes, it starts with his voiceover, but then it's just like, oh no, here he is.
Yeah, here he is, as big as the night sky.
And he's got a skeleton.
Yeah, half of one.
Oh,
now he looks happy to be here. And
someone does.
And Christopher Lee has some things to say, and he says them in his Christopher Lee voice, and I've always told him he should use that, and I'm glad that he finally started now.
And I saw her sit upon a hairy beast, and she held forth a golden chalice full of the filthiness of her fornications.
We start in LA. What? Where's that? What? I don't understand. The City of Angels. Oh!
City of the Angels, Paul.
Thanks, second subtitle.
Yeah.
Did it actually say of the angels?
I'm pretty sure.
Fuck yeah. Good subtitling.
Yeah. But it may not be LA, it may be Shropshire, where everyone is played by an English man.
Fuck yeah, because we're at a funeral. We're at the funeral of the chick from the last movie, and the priest is there. Oh my God, I trust in thee. Oh, okay, I didn't.
Oh my God, I trust in thee.
Thought you're going a different direction with that, Father.
All right, Jesus. Christ, our saviour. And he says, what a shame for this lady to be horrifically murdered.
she's beyond help now. Just to be clear, there's nothing we can do to bring her back. She's gone. Bitch gone. But we're joined here by her 6'3" brother, Red Brown. Excellent action movie actor.
Yeah.
Red Brown is here. And a colleague of hers, Marcy from Married with Children.
Whose acquaintance is the subject of this funeral, and she was horribly murdered. I can't stress that enough.
Horribly dead.
What a crime! And then Christopher Lee in the back saying "Amen," louder than the universe exploding into life. Paul.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
And he's going to comfort Red Brown after that horrible funeral by that dreadful priest. And he's just going to say, your sister's a werewolf. Here, take my card. Fuck you. But okay, we'll take that. Yeah. Thanks.
Look, that is fair. I didn't read the room.
I was raised to take cards when they're offered.
I was going to say I was too busy reading Lord of the Rings again.
God bless him. He's an occult investigator, and there's just no need to print that on his card, because you can just fucking look at him.
Yeah. And his name's Stefan Krosco.
Hello, I'm Stefan Kostko.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, yeah.
That's the problem with a name that sounds like Costco.
I'm Barry Basder. I need to exercise this child with my assistant.
Terry Waitrose. Did you come up with... No, I didn't. Tesco, man.
God. Well, there's no time for any more of this funeral. We've got to cut to a very interesting music concert. And it's the 1980s, so this could literally be anything. It looks like punk, but that guy's got a guitar.
Yeah, they are playing every genre.
It's blending, Paul. I love it.
It's the 80s. It's all about understanding. And I think about Blade briefly. Then Paul, there's a werewolf in there, and she meets some definitely American men, dressed up all in denims and leathers, and they're all mean. Yeah, they want to do some sex.
She captures some idiots. Lee was also there, by the way, which made my day.
Oh, with his special concert glasses. You must wear these to enter the concert, Mr. Lee.
Thank you. So and then she takes them to a warehouse where she kills them in a music video.
Oh shit! But it's WERE house.
Oh no, a warehouse!
Fuck.
I love it. Oh god. Well, meanwhile, Brother Red Brown and Dead Girl's colleague decide to visit Lee in his lair, his lead lair. And he explains your sister is a werewolf and she arranged her own murder. Look, I have this videotape. Oh, they are acknowledging the end of the last movie, just pretending it wasn't live. Yeah. And also, what about all the fucking people in the room who saw it happen? All dead. By their own hand.
By mine hand.
By mine hand.
by your hand. Really? Yes.
Look, that's clearly fake. That's not my sister. It's an only okay special effect. No, that's reality, I assure you. Also, do you recognize this woman? And he holds up a very professional-looking marquee he's had made of this woman.
Yeah.
With 4 paintings and like a thing. And some tour dates at the bottom. No? This is new wolf punk woman, and she's immune to silver bullets, but will later be killed by bullets. You need titanium bullets. That's a crucial detail that's different for a very important reason. Oh. And tonight she's going to return to Karen's body in order to raise her from the dead.
This is a videotape of Karen White's last news broadcast. Tonight, they will return to Karen's grave for her body.
Oh shit! The problem is, Paul, when prosthetics in world is fine. The fiction of the world, you go, wow, prosthetics, this is great. But when you're watching a video of somebody in prosthetics getting shot, you think, well, they can't possibly believe that because it's a woman wearing a werewolf head.
The head of the werewolves is Sturber, and it's her 10,000th birthday soon.
Oh shit!
Which will make all of the werewolves in the world reveal themselves. Well, that sounds ideal, right? That sounds better than what we have now. No, it's not.
Take the PCP under your seat.
I've doubled the strength. Better than I can.
Little old me.
Oh god. So Lee wants to stake his sister now because he really wasn't trained in werewolves. This is all quite new to him. But I imagine a stake would work. It works with most things.
I've retrained.
Everybody comes to the cemetery. Lee comes in order to stop Karen. Brother Brown and Marcy from Married with Children come to confront Lee about what he's planning to do to Karen's body. And also Wolfpunk is on her way to just kind of be about a bit.
Hello, she says.
Hello, just hanging about.
I need 2 more lines to get a supporting cast pay. Yeah, the brother and Marcy from Married with Children come in, and they see Lee about to stake Karen to fucking oblivion, mate. And they say, don't! And then werewolves spring out immediately.
He says, what are you doing? I'm staking your sister. Remember, we had a lengthy conversation about this earlier.
Pretty sure I told you.
I can't believe you've forgotten. Can't believe it.
Jesus.
Yes, werewolves attack immediately. There are 2 werewolves. Oh, wait, who the fuck is that?
Oh.
Okay, 3 then. 2.5. Anyway, it's tricky because they only have 1 bit of footage of a werewolf getting shot, and they just keep using it.
And it just keeps cutting back to Christopher Lee looking shocked. Oh, no.
Uh-oh. The half-vampire gets got, so they find out that Sturber is in the dark country, Czechoslovakia. Or, as they call it in this, Transylvania. Yeah, close enough.
Good enough. And I went, eee! And then I'm pretty sure that's when we cut to 2 tight German asses, Paul.
Not yet. Although, I think we probably can, because Punk Werewolf is also coming to Czechoslovakia in order to meet with Sturber for a 10,000th. And it already feels like we're giving up to the climax. But yes, sorry, we do cut, and there are a couple of butts.
Yeah, I think we need to cut right to the climax sometimes, Paul. I think we've earned it.
I think so.
Look, there's a couple of butts. There's still about 40 minutes to go. There's a couple of tight German asses in tight German pants. And the twist is they're both men, so it's fine for me to say that. And they catch a ride with a driver in a truck. Twist is, truck's full of bloody werewolves, isn't it?
Werewolves out back. He didn't mention that. He didn't mention it at all. He deceived them.
And that's hitchhiker's code. You're supposed to tell somebody if you've got a van full of werewolves.
And he didn't.
Vampires, no, but werewolves, yes.
So they both died. Meanwhile, at the castle, they're having a big ritual in order to suck the beauty out of a young lass that they've acquired from the town. In order to regenerate...
The beauty's all the young have, Paul.
I know that, and hope for the future, and she takes that too. And it's unbelievable. And yeah, that allows Sturber, the she-werewolf, to regenerate into a mighty Sybil Danning.
Yes.
Rawr.
And this now, Paul, is this before or after the great sex scene?
Well, it's kind of amongst. The great sex scene is kind of everything that happens at the werewolf castle for the next 40 minutes, but she is led to the back room, where the punk werewolf comes in, not wearing that corset correctly, I don't think. It looks rather painful, the way it's supporting her.
No, that sounds like she's wearing it correctly, Paul.
I'm not quite sure the boob is meant to be at a sort of 45-degree angle with your top chest. Nevertheless,
but you are definitely meant to be in pain. So wonderful thing.
It's a wonderful thing, and yes, they all fuck.
And it's not to worry about the sex scene going on for the next 40 minutes or the next sort of 7 hours of real time, because in Eastern Europe, Paul, meanwhile back in communist Russia, it's Carnival, and they're not allowed to stop dancing, not once.
Oh god. Well, that is actually after they arrive in Transylvania, and they're on their way to the villager. And the villagers have set a wolfy trap in the road, which they managed to thwart, just, using Christopher Lee's help. It's a good opportunity to split up, I think, and immediately our heroes encounter another werewolf and nearly die. Back at the orgy, everybody's hairy now. Good time for my flatmate to return from his walk. He literally says, it's one of those films, being only too familiar with our brand now.
Yeah, when I told Nell about this movie, she did, her eyes said a similar thing. I'm not going to like this one, am I? No, probably not.
But yes, there is a folk festival going on in town. If you look carefully, you can see Brad Pitt keeping a low profile in the back. So our absolute heroes, check into a hotel. Hey, is there a fair going on? Oh, no. Always like this.
Yeah, they're insane.
Very sarcastic in communist countries. It's all they have in many ways.
I'm scared, says Marcy from Married with Children. Well, I don't know about you lads, but I like to wait until my woman is terrified before I put the moves on her. And it works for... Works for Action McMahon as well, and they do a sex.
It's the McNamara way.
Yeah.
Take them to room 666. You don't have 667 rooms. No, I agree.
No, you're absolutely right, mate.
Is that enough? Is that enough for a scene? Brother Reb is too boring to believe in anything, and it would be effeminate to do so. But he can, as you say, as you correctly identify, bang Marcy for a bit. Yeah. But those sleazy foreign werewolves can smell gratuitous sex scenes.
Yeah, and they try and get fuck on right in the street, but not when there are Westerners about.
Yeah. Well, Gerard Depardieu appears and tries to get their attention, but he's short, so our heroes rightly are slow to trust him.
Yeah, as well all viewers.
Yeah, Depardieu actually works for Lee, who has assembled a cadre, an elite team of mighty warriors to defeat the terrible beasts. There's Old Man Priest, there's guy in cloth cap, and this guy with pitchfork.
And yeah, they have finally assembled. There are 10 years of cinema, Paul, leading up to this moment. And, oh God, Paul, it's everything you wanted, you know.
You should have seen Cloth Cap Guy's independent movie. It was easily the most sexual of the bunch.
Yeah. Just powerfully disappointing in every sense. And you can't watch The Howling II without having seen that. So,
well, they kind of split up at this stage. Marcy and Red Brown go and watch a saucy puppet show. But it doesn't turn on Marcy as much as it should. As it, definitely should.
Just go and scare her some more.
Well, some people are in the mood because the werewolf orgy is still definitely going on.
Yeah.
And we intercut that with a scene of Red Brown and Marcy Darcy reading a dictionary together in bed. Aww.
Aww.
See, that's the kind of moment that keeps a relationship lasting for an eternity.
Could you think of all the wonderful words that you could use to describe that scene?
Because, anyone can be happy in an orgy. Literally anyone. But it's the quiet moments. That's where you find contentment.
You know what's difficult, Paul, is admitting that you're sad in an orgy.
Yeah.
And
being vulnerable in an orgy,
exactly.
Just to admit that the real gaping asshole is in your heart.
Yeah. And, just trying to clench it closed whilst the air whistles out.
But you can't because the world slid in some sort of apparatus to expand it.
Yeah. And, some sort of metaphorical gaper. Yeah. But a gaper all the same.
Anyway, I just see Nell behind you, just doing whatever it is she's up to.
She doesn't have any meetings today.
Anyway.
Yeah. So the finale.
Well, the next day, everybody's lightened up a bit. They're having a bit of a dance and splitting up for no reason, which is what I like to do when I'm happy. Reb spots Punk Wolf and Sturber's concubine, a guy I meant to come up with a nickname for later, but it's very distinctive, and it maddened me that I couldn't name him. The guy with a very notable face. I thought about Vladimir Putin, but it's not quite right.
Is that the one I put for Mads Mikkelsen for?
Oh, maybe.
He's got an interesting wolf cap.
Yes.
Hat. Yeah.
I think it might be Mads Mikkelsen. What he says to each other, Christopher Lee is here. How do you know? Well, he's there. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Shit.
Jesus.
I thought he'd be laying low, but you're right, there he is.
Yeah. Stefan, is that you?
Sturber has meanwhile changed into an excellent outfit and stands dramatically next to a stuffed wolf. And Depardieu and Reb decide to break into the castle. They learn nothing new and then run away.
But Depardieu meets the beginning of his bleak end, Paul. He's
prolonged bleak end.
Yes, chapter 1. He's ensnared by werewolf, and
yep. He loses his two earplugs that they need to jam into their ears.
That's it. They fall out of his ears.
They can't hear the words of Sybil Downing.
And Wolf EX model Sybil Downing sings her song of edging and
a sixpence.
And Depardieu goes, "Oh, what? You want me to explode my eyes out and have them gush everywhere, and then go and try to kill Christopher Lee? All right then, because it's you."
That's not what I said. Well, you're like,
I wanted a cup of tea and some biscuits.
Some
good ones.
You see how he made the mistake there. So, meanwhile,
I've done that before.
Fucking Marcy from Married to Children is being led into the woods and says, "Hang on a minute, this isn't the way to the hotel. You're in the town square."
It's the DMZ in Berlin.
She gets got by the person who was meant to be their guide. And then...
Oh, no.
But meanwhile, Christopher Lee gets tripped by the zombie Depardieu.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he thinks it's a child, so he screams in its face for a while. and then realises it was his old friend.
Yeah.
And then he throws him out a window and he falls onto a bunch of spikes.
That was the best bit.
Yeah, it was very good.
Then, yes, there's a time for a tooling up montage with their ultimate weapons. Bottles of liquid, the Holy Grail, and an old tiny gun.
That song that band was playing earlier, the Every Genre band, that's on again.
Yep, the band has been flown out from LA to score the orgy that the werewolves are having, which is great.
Should have waited for them to write more than one song, but because you go to a gig, you just assume a band has more than one song.
No, I love that. Play that song again. Yeah, we have to. We're up here for 40 minutes. We're gonna play it again.
Yeah. It says out the band's name, like 80s guys, parenthesis, we have one song. It wasn't a clever name.
So they break into the place again, and it's going to be tricky now because they're going to be surrounded by werewolves, and they seem to have trouble spotting them even when they just kind of stand out in the open. So they're outgunned, and they kill most of them.
Yeah.
But they have lost one of their old dudes,
Yeah.
and they lose another one in a wolf trap. So they're down to an old dude, the old priest, and then Red Brown and Christopher Lee.
Old Priesty McGammy Christopher Lee.
Yeah.
And whichever one the shirt colour is from Star Trek that dies.
Well, indeed, and this is the best time to split up, definitely. So, Priest Guy finds Sturber. I've got a pretty good feeling about this going well. But, oh shit, he gets taken out by Danning's little bat friend. And, that's obviously a prosthetic head. This is going to be good.
Yep.
Oh.
Like, it was gross. It was still disgusting, and I still felt sick, but...
But we didn't need the whole head, man.
Yeah, Jesus.
How bizarre.
Have a prosthetic tit.
Red Brown, meanwhile, manages to take out the, what did you call him?
Mads Mikkelsen.
Mads Mikkelsen. Who, his name, it does sound like Blurg. Based on what Punk Werewolf was saying.
Yeah, you're right there. I did pick up on that. I was kind of numb at the time, so I didn't write it down. But I do remember it now. Thank you.
Punk Werewolf is also taken out with a good old-fashioned shotgun.
Fuck yeah.
Danning changes into a way less cool outfit and faces Lee with some amazing special effects, and she seduces him. But then they're both on fire. Take that, Sybil Danning.
Yeah, Christ. That's what you get.
That's prosthetic head guy again. Oh, shit, there we go. That's why they did that. A tiny bat escapes out of his entire face. Yay. I'm glad they set that up earlier so you wouldn't be shocked by how rubbish his face looks now.
Rubbish but better, definitely. And I was going to say Stuart Lee. Christopher Lee. Stuart Lee comes on and everyone goes, oh, Christopher Lee's let himself go. And Christopher Lee goes, no, idiots, I'm me. I'm not ensnared by the vampire's wily ways. I'm a werewolf. What? And then he stabs her.
He stabs her and they both die because they burn to death. Red Brown and Marcy run back to town and pull a gun on a violinist for no reason. No reason at all. Jesus.
Pretty sure he was about to change.
Pretty sure. And just like that, we're in the epilogue.
Yeah.
There's a weird fucking kid trick-or-treating.
Trick or treat!
Hell of a costume, kid.
Best investigate that. Maybe belongs to the neighbor. Knock on the door here.
Were your neighbors? Your child just knocked on our door?
My child?
Yeah, the kid in the wolf outfit.
But I have no child. I am not married. I am a bachelor and live alone.
Oh, very creepy man's opened the door. Wonder what that's all about. Anyway, the band play the song that they know, and that's the end.
Yeah.
Roger Ebert gives away the fact that he left before the credits because he said in his review that Danning's topless scene is repeated twice in the end credits. By giving the film its second and third interesting moments, which is a very sassy line from Roger Ebert. But no, they're not. It's not repeated twice. It's repeated 17 times.
Wow. Okay, he thought
an incredible montage.
He'd seen it thrice, and he thought, do you know what? I've had my fill. And,
I'm done.
And do you know what, Paul? I had my fill at the one because I switched off as soon as the credits hit, and I have not seen the montage, and nothing you can say or do is going to make me do that right now.
I see. It was a pretty amazing montage because they set it as a music video, but just with this recurring element of her whipping her top off, sometimes twice in a row. It was ridiculous.
Oh, Christ.
So what did you make of Howling II, the she-bitch?
It was an interesting mix, Paul. Because I wouldn't say it was consistently funny. And it kept my attention more than I was expecting it to.
Cool.
And I put that down to just good sort of setting and ambience.
Yes.
And yet, I was also, I was also quite bored for some of it, I would say.
Impressive for a 90-minute movie to have such valleys.
Yeah, I would say so. I could put it down to being tired. Maybe I will do that. But it was, I don't know, I just sort of pitch it somewhere in the middle of all the films we've seen. It had some really fun moments and some really good gore.
Yeah.
And Christopher Lee is always great. Yeah. He alone isn't, justification enough for watching a movie, I think.
Okay.
I guess it had just enough camp in it to keep me on its side.
Yeah.
But it was sort of, I think at the same time as that, I was just fighting a numbness in my head of being a little uninvested.
That's a shame. That's a shame because I must say I had a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this one.
Okay.
Pretty much everything I can think of from beginning to end of this movie is just something entertaining is going on, whether we're back in LA with this ridiculous funeral with Christopher Lee and these two snarling werewolves just hissing at people randomly. Yeah. And then we cut to the club with this ridiculous band playing and these surreal images and the lady werewolf, who's not Sturber, the punk werewolf, she's a lot of fun. She's enjoying herself during this movie. And then we have the ridiculous, the word ridiculous is going to get used a lot here, the massacre of those very clearly not American guys in the warehouse. With some, really fun moments of gore, but otherwise just moments of high camp. This feels like a movie that knows what it is. But nevertheless still manages to make some baffling decisions. The constancy of the fair in the little Russian town, the Czechoslovakian town, the fact that it's always there and that the figures are always dancing, and then combined with the unending nature of the orgy and the werewolf. It is a vampire story. This is clearly a vampire story they've clumsily refitted to have werewolves in it, because there's very little of werewolf lore in here. It very much feels like a vampire film. I mean, Transylvania, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
That's
where they all hang out, mate.
Vampires. It is, but there's some really creative and dumb decisions made. Some really interesting deaths, silly performances. For me, the only real downer is Reb Brown as our male lead, because he is very dull.
Yes.
And not quite bad enough at acting to be interesting. He's just flat. Everything he says is flat.
You sick, buddy? My sister's dead. It is our immortal soul which is in very grave danger. I just buried my sister. Please leave me alone. Let me give you my card. Call me, please. Why don't you just get the hell out of here?
Who is that man?
I don't know.
And that's a shame, because everyone around him seems to be trying quite hard.
Yes.
And putting in very camp, sort of over-the-top performances. And I'm trying to think of who was about in the 80s who might have been better, and it's just someone like Mitch Gaylord, or oh no, we complained that Mitch Gaylord was quite dull as well. Oh fuck, I don't know, some cult, maybe John Saxon. He's very old for this role, but fuck it,
Put Brian
Nancy's
Bosworth
dad.
in there.
But Brian Bosworth, fuck me, if you put Brian Bosworth in there, you've made a hell of a film.
That would be incredible. Yeah.
Someone
maybe
more entertaining in the lead would have been nice.
Maybe for me it was the fact that the performances from the main three were either good or bland, and they weren't silly. And Christopher Lee is never going to come across as camp to me, because Christopher Lee is fucking majestic.
Have you heard his metal album?
That's not. I've heard bits of it, and it doesn't sound camp to me. It sounds like I don't know. It sounds regal.
That's what I love about Christopher Lee, is that he brings this severity and this seriousness. And I actually watched an interview with Sybil Danning on the Blu-ray, and she said that she got a great piece of advice from Christopher Lee, which is always sort of do what makes sense to your character, or you just believe in your character. So even if he is sort of fighting a rubber bat, or doing whatever ridiculous thing he's had to do in his career, acting on a green screen, he always believes in his character and what they're going through. And in this, he is a supernatural investigator tasked with bringing down an incredibly dangerous werewolf, and that's exactly how he's going to play it. And there's something just a little bit joyful about the fact that he's willing to do this.
Oh yeah, it was incredibly joyful. I really enjoyed Christopher Lee's performance and his being in the movie. It just never registers as camp to me, because he is so fucking great, and I want him. To be clear about that. So it's kind of. So I think I'm watching a Christopher Lee movie, and even though he is mostly been in B-movie weirdness.
Yes.
Christopher Lee represents like Shakespearean actor in the way he holds himself, and he's a very, very intelligent, very talented man, and then so like the camp around it is so, it just creates such a weird like conflict of experiences for me, where I see Christopher Lee and he's majestic and he's regal and he's the most important thing happening on screen at any moment, and then the craziness of like the dancing of people who are just like bopping, like hopping around, like not even dancing anymore, people just hopping around and wearing those huge like Toby jug heads and whatnot, and it's such a interesting mix that it didn't put me into the hysteria of something like Things or Beyond the Seventh Door.
Oh, sure. Well, I would put this as somewhere alongside something like American Rickshaw, where it's just an entertaining cult movie. Yeah. It's not, a revelation or anything. It's just a good laugh, as so many of these kind of cheesy horror films of the 1980s were. I think it all felt fairly congruent to me, because that was just his character. He was the stern, supernatural guy who has come to try and impose some Christian values on the madness that he is witnessing. And so what was fun is seeing how the filmmakers decided to render excess. A perverted foreign town. How are we going to put that together? And it's just people in papier-mâché heads having a bit of a fair.
Yeah.
And then the werewolf orgy as well. It felt suitable, a sort of Victorian gentleman being appalled by all of the nonsense around him.
I guess I just, Donald Pleasance is more ridiculous to me than Christopher Lee.
Oh, sure.
As an entity.
He gets a shout on, and that's always good fun. But I was on board with Christopher Lee's stoic sort of supernatural investigator. But look, we best move on to quickfiring to get this done in time. But
I think, are you implying in that I didn't enjoy Christopher Lee? Or that I didn't enjoy, because I enjoy Christopher Lee and I enjoyed the campness. It just caused a weird sort of dissonance in me.
Okay, and I'm saying that I found it fairly congruent. I think that's all we're saying there.
Are you saying that I don't love my mum?
I actually am, and I'm saying that you think everyone in the British Army is some sort of pussy. And I can't believe you're inferring this in what you're saying.
Well, look, I'd like to deny, to disagree with you there, Paul, but the implication's there.
It's there. It's plain to hear, and I think you just got to read the files. So. Yeah. I'm also sorry to Goodman's mum, but not the British Army. Oh, shit, now I'm... Oh, no!
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Quick fire. I really like the opening credits music, Paul.
Yeah.
And I assume... It didn't have the vocals at that point. But I assume that was just the one song that this movie had.
That one song. It may well be, and I do love that song.
Yeah, it had real momentum. It suggested it was going to be a movie about a streetwise cop. But... but this was also fine.
Speaking of the credits, I really enjoyed the font that they were in. This sort of white font with red surround was, very charming and suitable for this spooky Halloween movie. It felt like a Halloween movie. This is a good party movie to put on, I think. With just enough dull moments for people to chat through, and then every so often somebody's eyeballs explode out of their head.
Yes. Yeah, it would have been nice if I'd have had a beer or a glass of wine or something with this.
I always suggest you do that.
Yeah, I'm just one of those people that I'm funnier when I've had... a drink.
It's some sort of inhibitant.
Yeah.
It's the opposite.
Uninhibitant.
No, you need an inhibitant, mate.
Tighten that corset.
You get back into the gaping asshole stuff.
And by inhibitant, I mean some sort of metal ring I can put around your sphincter. Your emotional sphincter, obviously. Jesus.
That will inhibit you.
Yeah. The old guy becomes a werewolf at the beginning, and he has he's still wearing his hat, which is great. But when he's still a human, he does this little like foot swipe thing that's like a suggests that obviously he's going to be a werewolf because he's got like that animalistic tendency to scrape at the ground. I quite like that.
And the bit where he's scratching his ear with his bat leg.
Yeah, there's that too.
Hang on a minute.
And he goes, "I'm a werewolf." Oh.
Ooh. It's like, all right, mate, yeah.
All right.
Then later on, it's like, oh my god, I never would have guessed.
Magical.
Oh, so he says, your sister's a vampire. And he says, that's bullshit. Cut to her screaming in her coffin, cut to rock concert. Like, it's that quick.
You said your sister is a werewolf.
Ah, bullshit.
And it's just a little insert, and I really enjoyed it. It was jazzy. and kind of punky, and I enjoyed that.
I found that haunting.
It was.
Her just being trapped in a coffin.
Yeah.
Fucking terrifying.
Yeah, it was. Even as Lady Werewolf.
Even if the lady is a werewolf. And I'll say this,
The lady.
and I don't care who knows it, I support the armed forces, and if a werewolf's in a coffin, Paul, I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
I also support the armed forces if they want to all express an interest in same-sex relationships, and I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, definitely. When just after the funeral, when the brother, when Mitch Gaylord says, he's like, "Oh, I've just buried my sister. What are you trying to tell me?" And Christopher Lee goes, "I know that she is a werewolf." And there's a little sting, which it must be like the "she is a werewolf" leitmotif. And then he walks away. And it's not the only time in the movie that happens.
What do you know about the death of Karen White?
I know that she is a werewolf.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
Yeah. All right, Christopher Lee's at the disco, or whatever it is, the thing that's going off, the party with the band.
This is the disco you kids are enjoying nowadays. Always talking about the disco.
A woman goes to put sunglasses on him, and then he backs away and takes the sunglasses and fits them very carefully himself, and then gives a smile to the woman afterwards as if to say, "Yes, thank you." And then later on, it's just in a crowd scene wearing them.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's wonderful.
even
White-rimmed
that
sunglasses.
Yeah. Oh fuck!
Very thin, like 80s style.
Age,
yeah.
Even that didn't it was fucking amazing, but my campometer wasn't screaming.
Gotta take that campometer to the shop, mate.
Yeah, it's knackered, isn't it? It's just that Christopher Lee looks fucking boss doing everything. Can't help it.
Yeah, that is an issue.
When the definitely American goons go to the warehouse with the Lancaster warehouse.
Oh yeah.
With the werewolf. The leather man, the leather gang man. He says something incomprehensible, and then he laughs terribly.
I can tell you exactly what he said because this is my next one, and I wrote it out in detail.
Okay, perfect.
You made Deacon mad, and he gets real nasty when he's mad.
He gets real nasty when he's mad. And then something gets lobbed at him.
A fucking pole from screen right just flies in and donks him, and it's
He's
amazing.
not even in focus at the time. It's so good. It's so unexpected.
That was wonderful.
I laughed very loudly.
Yeah, that was my first very big laugh.
Yeah.
My first VBL.
When, well, I had a good VBL. Oh no, not quite. But when a guy gets his hand cut off, and it's just lying on the floor, it twitches a bit. No, that was quite good.
Yeah,
yeah.
I like
a little
that.
effect. Yeah,
that was good.
yeah.
I think I was tired, Paul. If I was less tired last night, I might have been. Yeah, I'll retcon and I'll say I think I enjoyed it. It was just very tired.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It can happen.
We'll just
it can happen to the best.
We'll just cut out. We'll cut out 20 minutes of the discussion and just put that in, and
That'd be good.
It'll be fine.
That'd suit me just
fans
fine.
will love it. Yeah, brilliant. That same scene actually, when the werewolf paw comes in from screen left to grab the woman by the face. It's obviously just a dude in a werewolf costume. It's a big beefy arm that looks like a big dude's arm, like a fat dude's arm, and it's brilliant. It had real Reeves and Mortimer vibes.
Oh, throughout that entire werewolf scene, there's some fairly disturbing moments of the punk werewolf just looking weirdly despondent in her werewolf gear, and it keeps cutting back to her. What's his name did cite New Wave as an influence here, and you do kind of get that feel. There's sometimes some bizarre cuts or recurring images that aren't quite justified in what we're seeing on screen, but just kind of happen.
Very intriguing to me that he'd cite the French New Wave horror movement as an inspiration, despite the fact that it hadn't come out for 15 years. We must look into this.
Oh no, that was the new French.
No, I'm pretty sure I know what he's talking about, Paul, and I think we need to investigate this fucking liar.
Yeah, okay. I just want to know what Jean-Luc Godard was doing directing Inside. Lunatic.
Fucking hell. Inside your ass.
That's a film he'd make.
Dans le anus.
Agnes Varda's Switchblade Romance.
There are many stages before man becomes a beast. Love you, Christopher Lee. Fucking love you.
That's the name of one of the tracks on his album. So, 2 details from the ritual in order to give Sybil Danning the youth of the woman. One of them is that we see a face get melted, and I'm not sure why, but it's very Possessor style.
Okay.
Just see it like blasted, and like it kind of peels away and forms a chasm in the middle, and that was gross. And then afterwards, when she leaves, the corpse that she's just drained of youth, it's like this really horrible, like dried up little husk.
Yeah.
During this ritual, I do remember this sensation that things were happening quicker than I could write them down. So I'm sure there are more details that I like there, but I just didn't have time to put them down there.
Yeah, fair. There's a lot going on, Paul. Tell you one thing that was going on. The sex scene ended in a rhomboid wipe, didn't it?
Yes, that's my next one actually. Bizarre scene transitions. Like, there's quite a few.
Yeah.
Very weird wipes and transitions.
I'm pretty sure they had a triangle wipe, and it was just very distracting and jarring. It was wonderful.
Oh, God. The puppet show was very surreal when we see this puppet show, because it kept cutting to, like, the puppets on their own against a blue background, like head turning. And it's just a very surreal kind of impressionistic view of this puppet show in which details suddenly stand out and become significant. And again, very experimental in the way in which it was filmed. Very good looking film, I think.
Yeah, there's a moment I'll get onto later actually with that. But I mean, one thing that looked fucking great, Paul, Christopher Lee just standing against the night city skyline in a suit.
Yeah.
Dapper piece of shit.
He's a dapper dude.
Fuck yeah. Dapper dick.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Dapper dick dude.
A DDD.
After a few things, we get a title comes up saying the following afternoon. And we have not had any titles come up since the opening. So just this random one indicating the following afternoon is great. To do it only once in a movie is excellent.
So, fuck me. The Black Knight shows up, Paul, and he's great. There's some fucking dude in a helmet. It just looks exactly like John Cleese's. Yeah, I think so.
There's a guy outside with a helmet and a machine gun, and there's a guy in the orgy with, I think, the same helmet.
2 for 1.
I love it.
Yeah, he was very none shall pass. It was wonderful.
I love that, mate. I will have Sturber's outfit. This is Sybil Danning's leather with metal straps kind of thing, which was very dominatrix. But also, it had these gaps like around the thigh, so it wouldn't rub against itself, and it looked like you could give yourself a nasty pinch if you sat wrong, and it did not look very comfortable around the buttocks. Nevertheless,
no, it did not.
No, it did not, but nevertheless, it looked like a fucking boss outfit, and it's what I want to wear to my next orgy.
Considering they let you back, being too sexy.
Jesus.
So the eye bursting was a nice surprise.
Oh, I loved it. It was so good, because something was going to happen. They kept cutting back to the guy, and it was establishing a rhythm of things getting more and more intense. And when the eyes do just burst out of his head. Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah, the music cuts out so you can properly appreciate the sound, the oral adventure that entails.
It was
and
great.
It's just a very bleak ending for that guy, Fasila.
But the surprise of him just getting fucking pushed out a window was great, because you see him run to the window and you think, okay, but then to see a tiny man fly through a window and fall to the ground, you think, oh, this movie's great.
It's not quite John C. McGinley's doll
no, it's
flying
not.
out of a window, but it's very good.
I'll put that there was a Wicker Man feel to the village that I quite enjoyed. Yeah, I enjoyed just the sinisterness of everyone smiling and being very nice and polite. And even right now, I don't know if they were all in on it, if they were all werewolves themselves or what. There's just something creepy about them all.
I was expecting, more of a culty, cult village, like a village cult thing to come out of it, but
the villagers kind of helped to set up the trap, on the road, because all the villagers are gathered around saying, "Oh no, you must help us," and then as soon as they're like, "Okay, let's get real close to her," they ran the fuck away. So
you want to get freaky? You want to get weird, Professor?
Let's get nuts.
Oh, I'm crazy. So the death of the priest, as soon as his head turned into a prosthetic, it looked disgusting for me.
Yeah, it was horrible.
As soon as it was a prosthetic, it looks janky, but it's just gross immediately.
Yeah.
And then when Stirber dies, that little fucking bat that crawls out of his mouth is amazing.
And that was great. And again, another little hidden thing. It's implied to die in the fire, I guess, but also more evidence that this was meant to be a fucking vampire. But whatever. Oh god, when the Gerard Depardieu is gonna go beat up a guard, Red Brown is there with him. And I think he says, I'm going to go get that guard. And he says to him, how are you going to do that? And he pulls out a knife, and Red Brown just says, rock and roll. The only line he said that made me happy in this movie.
Aww.
Not a big Red Brown
But at least
fan.
he had one.
He had one. God bless him. Should have been the McNamara's in a sharing the role.
Werewolves, majestic animals. We're never wrong. Okay, my last one is when Steber is beckoning Christopher Lee to her. The general ambience and the mood of that is great. It's very quiet and menacing, and there's something about the quiet there that it builds up to the moment of him stabbing her really well.
It does. It was really sinister confrontation.
I really like that moment.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, let's have my last 9. So the two actors portraying the lesser werewolves just sort of stood over Sybil Danning's shoulder, just kind of going, rawr, rawr, rawr.
Yeah.
But with no prosthetics. This is just performance driven.
Yeah.
It was very good. I enjoyed that quite a bit.
You gotta make people believe the performance, Paul.
For this next one, we get to appreciate how my phone decided to not autocorrect me. But there was really good werewolf Trandolph Martin footage in the transformation. Really good werewolf Trandolph Martin footage that they used, which I assume is recycled from the first movie, which I think may have even benefited from a Savini. But there was some good bodies moving and ears growing and claws growing out kind of business.
Nice.
I really like the Bone Dungeon, which of course they've acquired, and I think is likely to be the same Eastern European Bone Dungeon as Werner Herzog shot for his version of Nosferatu.
Okay.
It's just, it's one of those rooms made completely of bones that you have. I think there was one underneath Notre Dame. Nevertheless, it's like a necropolis kind of effect. I've just put Danning looks great. That's just in general, I guess. The surprise of the werewolf trap got me when they're walking through the woods and suddenly out of a hedge, a hand just grabs out and captures one of the men. That was vaguely sinister. That caught me by surprise and made me go, Christopher Lee reciting some sort of litany whilst looking at a bleeding crucifix was a pretty fucking metal image.
Bound, bound, bound be all demons and powers of adversity from the north, south, east, and west. Bound, bound, bound be all ill wishers and those that practice violence against the bearing of this. Bound, bound, bound shall be all, bound and sealed from Stilba, daughter of Satandar and Asentaser. Bound and held subject to his will.
He does those.
The when both of them caught fire, I thought that looked great. And finally, I really liked the menacing ending, including a nice little detail of the girl climbing on Reb, which is nice. He's a 6'3" man, and she was just able to monkey crawl up him as a person. And and then the weird ending, which doesn't resolve itself. Who was the kid? Who was that creepy man? What did Red Brown say? It's very hard to hear his dialogue.
Aren't you coming?
A little later.
I hope so. I hope so.
Much later.
All a mystery, and I enjoy that.
Love a mystery.
Love a mystery. Okay, right. Did the OG2 get in touch? OG2.
Some of the OG. They did get in touch.
Oh.
Yeah. A couple over on Twitter. Ellen Graham. Well, she said, I haven't seen this one, but the OG Howling is a really cool werewolf film.
Werewolf is great. I think you're really going to enjoy Howling II, Your Sister Is A Werewolf. So please watch that.
As Your Sister Is A Werewolf, you will enjoy the Howling II.
You'll relate to it quite a bit.
What with the whole sister thing?
Yeah, definitely.
You've got going on. Aaron Carruthers says, I like the theme song. And Jimmy Nail's small role in the film. With his facial features, he would have been a perfect werewolf or Frankenstein's monster.
Good stuff.
Was Jimmy Nail in this, or was that a joke?
He played Dom.
Oh!
I don't know who Dom is.
That's not who we've been calling Mads Mikkelsen, is it?
It might have been. Nevertheless.
I think it could have been. Well, there we go.
There you go. Good
Wonderful.
stuff.
Thanks, OG team.
Thanks, OG team. Right, let's talk about the one better thing.
The one better thing.
When it comes to werewolf movies, there's pretty much your standards, you know, the original Wolfman of Lon Chaney, or, wait, was it Lon Chaney? Or, you know...
Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle, absolutely. An American Werewolf in London is obviously amazing, but Lon Chaney Jr., yeah. That still holds up. It's very good. Yeah, American Wolf in London and the first Howling, I think, are probably the best ones to go for there.
Great. On my side, if we're talking about going out into the European wild, horror in nature, why not watch Midsommar if you haven't yet?
Oh!
Ari Aster's mind-bending horror movie about some American PhD students visiting a friend's home in rural Sweden and finding themselves enmeshed in the celebrations of a pagan cult. Some elements of body horror, and features some truly mind-bendingly grim sequences, which eventually my brain just had to stop trying to process. But Florence Pugh is amazing in this, as is Jack Rayner, Will Poulter.
Yep.
Poulter,
yeah.
Potter.
Yep.
And everybody else as well is suitably either an asshole or
evil.
Terrifyingly calm. Yeah.
It's excellent. It's a really good film.
Yeah, it's amazing.
The one better thing.
Okay, how can people find out about us, the OG Us?
Holy shit! All they need to do is go onto Twitter and Facebook and search for OGT Pod. OGT Pod. That's OGT Pod.
Oh,
and you send us an email at gmail at ogtpod@gmail.com. It's ogtpod@gmail.com.
Yeah.
ogtpod@gmail.com.
Oh,
we have a Patreon, where for as little as $1 a month you get exclusive access to content such as Uncut and Butt, our Halloween sneak peek preview, where we have just covered Scream the First. We'll be releasing Scream 2 in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
And for as little as $1 a month, you're getting the Halloween episodes early.
Yeah.
As well as some other things like a Matrix Resurrections review.
Oh my god.
And the ending, the much waited for ending to the Tom Hanks Perfect World saga.
And much more. Just lots of fun little challenges and little reviews and stuff that we really, really enjoy doing.
Yeah. Our new TTRPG podcast, Quest Fantastic, has just had its second episode released. That's been amazing fun, so everybody go check that out.
Yeah. Absolutely. And Screen Mayhem, all the usual. I'm Paul Salt.
I'm Paul the Usual.
And remember, the one good thing about The Howling 2 is either Christopher Lee or it's the scene where a guy gets his eyeballs exploded out of his head.
Yeah.
Oh, I also liked all 17 times they showed Sybil Dannings getting a boot out.
Oh, yeah, okay.